I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
I'm happy because of being here today. Fuck you.
Come on, you want me to drive? You're supposed to be suicidal, remember? I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Let's get in the car.
Fucking shit. Fuck me in the fucking ass. Fuck you, you fucking stupid cunt.
Hey everyone, it's Don G. Corleone here, and I am here with a brand new movie review. And this review is going to be for last weekend's Nobody 2, which is directed by replacing First Film's director Timo. Can't pronounce his last name, but yeah, this time it's still mostly the original cast back. And it's a sequel to the 2021 hit Nobody, which I really liked. And I was actually excited for this sequel. So what is the plot of Nobody 2? Well, Hutch Mansell is back, and this time around, he's pulled back to his violent past after thwarting a home invasion, and then set off a chain of events and unravel secrets while Weiss passed in his own. Well, in kind of a way more, pretty much he's taking a break and goes on his family vacation, and then some more crazy shit happens. In kind of a way, this time around. It's kind of like a family vacation film in a way this time around, this sequel. So, as for my reaction, so you all know, let me just get it out of there, if I can get it out easy with the other Blu-rays, because it's on Blu-ray. Yeah, here we go. And so, as for my reaction to this Nobody 2, y'all remember when I saw the first one, Nobody, back in 2021, that came out 4 years ago. I love this film, easily regarded it one of the best films of 2021. Sadly though, the sad side is I didn't get to see it in theaters. That sucks. Because how strict my area was with reopening any cinemas until that summer. Until summer it came, they finally reopened. So I pretty much had to watch jealously of every other place that got to have theirs reopen. I had to stream nearly every blockbuster for the first half of that year. Yeah, so unfortunately I had to watch this on streaming when it released. Yeah. But after I watched this film and I loved it regardless, I could not wait for a sequel to come out ever since then. And I was excited that it got greenlit eventually. And even better, Timo would be the director of The Night Comes, Stuff Like the Night Comes for Us, and several VHS segments I really liked, would be directing the movie, so I knew I was going to be for an even wilder surprise. So, I just got back from seeing the movie, and how was this movie? Well, guess what? I know some people are saying it's not as good as the first one, but if I'm going to be honest, I honestly find this just as great, if not even better than the first one. I know people will disagree with me for saying that, but I thought this one was wild. I thought this one was epic. I love that it was just a simple runtime. It wasn't like trying to be over 2 hours long. And it was a wild hoot from start to finish. This movie is a masterpiece too, but this one was even more wild. Like, this one really feels like an 80s styled action film. You know, like it was like those 80s sequels to 80s action films. You know, like sequels like Beverly Hills Cop 2 or First Blood Part 2 or I think of Lethal Weapon 2 or RoboCop 2 or Predator 2. Like, and it even can be compared to the Evil Dead series, where this one is definitely more Evil Dead 1 in terms of more gritty tone, while this one kind of goes for the tone of Evil Dead 2. So, how was Nobody 2 made? So, it was around March 2021 when Connie Nielsen expressed interest in reprising her role in the sequel to the film. The actress stated she wanted to learn more about Hutch and Becca's backstory, and there would be discussions regarding how characters that met took place on a set of the first film. Then, in June of the same year, Derek Kolstad had announced that they were in the process of writing a sequel, but it was not yet greenlit by the studio. It wasn't until the next year, on March 2022, when 87 North Productions announced that the studio would look forward to working on Nobody 2. No official production date was announced around that time. By August of the same year, David Leitch had confirmed that work on the script was ongoing, and the studio had committed to releasing a sequel. And then, of course, then by the end of 2022, in December, Kelly McCormick announced a sequel would be happening, and filming got scheduled for 2023. Then last year in January, Connie Nielsen confirmed developments on a sequel would still be going and would be back for this movie. Then, of course, March last year, Leitch confirmed production was going to begin by the end of 2024. And, of course, that same month, and eventually later, our new director would be Timo Tjahjanto, who had been hired to direct the film. And filming began on August 6, 2024, and wrapped on September 26, 2024. Then, after the film was officially shot and advertised, Nobody 2 would be released in the United States by Universal Pictures on August 15, 2025, and received positive reviews from critics. And, well, at the box office opening weekend, it made about $9 million. Sadly, it didn't make as much opening weekend as the first one, which has me a little worried, because I would kind of like to see, well, I'm not holding my breath for when I say I want to see a third one, because we all know sometimes the third ones can be shit. And if they can't do a third one, then I guess I'd be fine with that. I mean, I don't want nobody getting one of the bad third entry treatment. I mean, there are rare good third entries. There's Return of the King. There's Revenge of the Sith. There's John Wick 3. There's Sonic 3. Some rare good third entries, but usually a lot of the times, the third entries are always shit. What are the good qualities in this story about Nobody 2 and why I thought this movie was even better than the first one? So, one of the good things about the first one is reveal from mild-mannered bored family to man to assassin. This did not ruin the second one. Hutch was still a great character that gets caught up in the mess. The family was still great. Connie Nielsen in this one honestly gets a lot more to do. Right here, and the fight scenes are original and funny. Like, there's even a scene, like, the finale taking place in a fucking water park with a bunch of booty trap water park was epic. Or the showdown in an arcade, the showdown in an entire warehouse, or showdown on a freaking duck boat. Yeah, like, you even have Sharon Stone actually back in this one. Like, we haven't seen Sharon Stone in a while. Like, Sharon Stone, you actually see Sharon Stone playing this over-the-top, goofy, 80s-style action villain, and actually look like she's having the time of her life filming this character. And even has some great epic dialogue in her scenes. And yeah, Tom Hanks' son also starring the film as one character. And the movie does not take itself too seriously. I love that. I smiled and laughed throughout the film. Even the audience I was with smiled and laughed throughout the film. Like, it really felt like I was watching an action film from the 80s and 90s right here. This one did too, but this movie has even more of that tone. The movie is well-polished action, it's humor and comedy, it has some good moments that involve like messages about life and how hard life can be, and it's also just looking to laugh and see action. It has definitely a few pretty gnarly moments. That's definitely a good flick to catch. And also the flow of the movie has good music on the way. This great assembled cast of actors. There's this great full cast of plenty for people to be a part of the film. And it's such a great accomplishment. And of course, the star starring in this flick are Bob Odenkirk, who's back as Hutch Mansell, still does great in this. I think Bob Odenkirk's a great actor. I like him in the show Breaking Bad. Liked him in this film. Like his voice acting in Incredibles 2. You have Connie Nielsen, who I didn't mind in Gladiator. Not so much in Gladiator 2, but this one, she actually gets more to do. She's a little more interesting of a character, because that's one of the things about the first film. In the first film, she did pretty good as well, but she didn't get a lot to do in the first one. That was kind of a problem with the first. there wasn't much to her character. This one, there's a little more to her character. The character definitely feels more real, hardworking, understanding here. Like, they're like, and honestly, like Sharon Stone's even, and honestly, like Sharon Stone's villain character was honestly an even better villain than the villains in the first one. The villains in the first one were good too, don't get me wrong. But this was the kind of action film we needed in what's been a shitty year for movies. And yes, there's movies once again, there are movies I've liked this year. Warfare was a movie that came out this year. I liked that movie. Sinners was a movie that came out this year. I liked that movie. The Day the Earth Blew Up was a movie that came out this year. I liked that movie. Novocaine came out this year. I liked that film. Like there's like the Naked Gun reboot that came out this year. I shockingly liked that. Very shockingly so. I don't think a lot of people did. Like I don't think I even did, but I came out surprised watching that film. The Bad Guys 2, that came out this year. I like that movie. But it's still been an awful, terrible year for films. We've had shit like Lilo and Stitch remake, Minecraft, The Woman in the Yard, Snow White. Man, and I was kind of thinking, Happy Gilmore 2. Too many, a bunch of already clearly forgot about Marvel films. It's been we had a disappointing Mission Impossible finale that also sucked. Thankfully, we had an action film like this year because I'm glad we got a film like this year because this has helped another great film to come out in what's been one of the worst years for film. And also, it's good, a little belated, nice. I guess it was a nice little belated birthday present from Hollywood. Having an action film like this came out 3 days after my birthday. So, what are the good qualities in the story of, why I already said that. How does the plot of Nobody 2 go? We're on to the story bed now. Why am I saying this again? Okay, so, this takes place after events of the first film, and like the first film, we start off with Hutch and this dog in the interrogation room, and the interrogator's asking, "Who are you two?" And then the title, Nobody 2, shows up. And then we see what's been going after the events of the first one, where Hutch has had to do a few jobs because he pays off a debt that he owes. He's still living a normal life. This time around, he's a little more on top of the garbage day. And eventually, though, Hutch is just tired and wants a break to be closer to the family. Yeah, so he heads to this childhood place he went to as a kid called Plummerville. They find the water park that was advertised has been closed there, but they get this coupon to this restaurant and then an arcade. So they go to the arcade. So while it's at an arcade, Brady gives these tickets he wins in one game to this girl, but this random kid that's clearly probably spent with the girl sees this and is mad, and he in anger destroys a plush that was meant for his sister, Sammy. So right there, like, the son is mad, and so he beats up the kid. This gets them kicked out. But after an employee slaps the back of the daughter's head, Hutch reasonably goes and beats them up. And I actually like this bit right here because this employee smacked his daughter in the back of the head for no reason, despite the fact that she wasn't even involved in the chaos. So you can see why, like, at first it seems like Hutch is leaving, but Hutch still thinks of the incident. He rolls back to the arcade. He dismantles some of the arcade equipment, like he dismantles the claw machine, whacks one employee, whacks one guard with it, or whacks one guard with the whack-a-mole. And this movie goes all out wild. This draws the ire of the owner of Plummerville called Wyatt, and this corrupt sheriff named Abel. At first, like, it seems like these guys are going to be the villains when you first meet them because, well, Sharon Stone's character doesn't really enter the film to the middle of the movie, and Wyatt wants Hutch and his family kicked out of Plummerville, but Abel has his men try and kill them instead. So that's where this full film is going. It shows that not even on vacation, Hutch can catch a break from any more stuff like this. The movie takes everything that works in the first film and elevates it to even greater heights with excellent direction from Timo to Giannato. And the movie does a great job at adding to the pen of the plot, and we can enjoy the action for the rest of the 89-minute runtime. Like, this movie's like 89 minutes long. It surprisingly goes by pretty quick. Bob Odenkirk is still awesome as Hutch Mansell here, still kicks a lot of ass here. I like seeing like this whole idea of Hutch taking his family on vacation to a theme park. That's a great plot for the sequel. He finds out bad things are happening and he has to do his thing though. And supporting cast is still great. Connie Nielsen still does great in this role. Christopher Lloyd even comes back, and even he still does great in this role. And even gets involved in the whole action with Bob Odenkirk. And Sharon Stone was entertaining as the mastermind behind the operation. Has some great dialogue. Like some of this dialogue remind me of some of Gary Oldman's villain characters, like Norman Stansfield, Neil the Professional, or in the Fifth Element, which by the way both were directed by Luc Besson. Like it really felt like a tribute to those characters. Heck, even kind of somewhat like the villain from Beverly Hills Cop 2. Really felt like those characters. I really like seeing Sharon Stone play a role like this. It's been a while since we last saw her. Like, remember she had Basic Instinct 2, and that killed her career for a while. She had small minor roles, but other than that, we never really saw her in a major role. So, it was nice to see her in a major role again. Nice to see her actually play the big bad. Especially, like, the action sequences are phenomenal, even better than the original because of Timo's direction. And while there's a bit of a tease of a third film with that ending, but it might be hard to make a third one because how the opening weekend for the box office kind of went. But unless it does get saved by streaming, maybe we'll get another one. You know, the first one wasn't really a huge major box office hit either, and it took a year to announce a sequel, and eventually they did. Like, I think because, like, the first one got spared because of the streaming. Like, I think it did also well in streaming. So, once this hits streaming, maybe this will do well in streaming. Hopefully. So that hopefully we can get a hopefully good third film. You know, if you can't come up with good material for a third film, then I don't mind if they don't leave it. If they just leave it here. To avoid, like, a bad sequel ruining a good duology. And, like, the gore in this movie, it presents it, like, the right amount. It makes the action visceral. It doesn't tip on overindulgence. Like, right there, like, you have the ending. You have a samurai showdown. Like, between these two samurai people, and Bob Odenkirk's character. A stylish and electrifying sequence. Or these other SWAT people, like, get killed with theme park stuff. Or on a water slide. And, like, some epic sequences right here where Bob Odenkirk really anchors the chaos with Nerf Valley's performance and turns this action fest also into emotional weight. You have a cast and crew that do an amazing job creating experience, having good chemistry with one another. The top-notch cast is excellent here with the brilliant action sequences, the over-the-top story. You really see Bob Odenkirk deliver this all-amazing performance. You have good one-liners and comedic timing. So I can see why, like, Timo could be directing some other stuff. Like, he's going to be directing a sequel to The Beekeeper, and going to be directing a remake to The Train to Busan, which I have not seen the original Train to Busan, but knowing how he directs horror, like, he directed VHS segments, like, he directed one about a cult that was horror. I'm sure his Train to Busan remake might end up being a big surprise. I hope he does it like that cult segment from VHS 2. I hope he does it like that. Or heck, like, I hope eventually he can finally turn Safe Haven into a movie, because that's one VHS segment I want to see get a movie. Like, I wish that got a movie instead of stuff like Some Part Alien Abduction, and heck, you know, part of me even wishes that got a movie instead of Amateur Night. I like the Amateur Night segment, but Safe Haven segment is better. I think Safe Haven works better as a film. Much more than the Amateur Night segment does. So this is why I was actually more excited for the sequel, knowing who was going to direct it. So, the next day, like, after the family is kicked out, right there, and they're allowed to leave the station. So, they go on this thing called a duck boat, and, like, before they left, like, Hutch's son asked, "What's a duck boat?" "Oh, it's a military vehicle." And it turns out, like, it's not a military vehicle. It's actually an actual, like, tourist boat with a duck on it. And so Hutch sends them away on the first one, but then some of Abel's men attack Hutch, and they go on the next one. But just they're about to, like, before they can begin their attack, like, the tour guide, like, comes, "Okay, people, sit down," and, like, just sit down and wait for the boat to take off. And then they begin their attack, and Hutch loses his pinky. And of course, then he like beats them all up or throws one anchor to one and pulls down like the anchor and it throws the guy overboard and then punches one to clean the face so he's pretty much off the boat later. And then finds out from his brother that Plum River was a bootlegging route and his brother informs that the route belongs to Lendina, our main big bad, that Abel works for and why he has to pay off. So he tells Sharon Stone's character Ladina that it's his last payment. She pretty much has Abel kidnap his son Max, and right here, like Ladina really shows how ruthless she can be when she gets pissed off. Like she catches one of her clients at her casino cheating, and then immediately kills him, stabs him clean in the head. It's like, no one cheats in my casino. Like this is awesome. Like I already love this character. Like as soon as I saw this character on screen, as soon as I was like, this is one of the best action villains in a while. So she has Abel kidnap Max. That's the kid who bullied Brady in the arcade earlier, and Hutch goes down to de-escalate the whole situation he's now in, but once okay, take the payment, get out of here before I change my mind. But he sees that Max is kidnapped, and at first he's gonna drive off, but he gets a change of heart. He goes back and saves him, goes to a warehouse, Wyatt's like, what, you again? I thought I told you I just shoots all down everybody, and then burns all the money, and blows up the whole place, and he saves Max, and they drive off, and Abel is scarred. So, yeah, now how I first discovered Timo was watching those VHS segments, like I already told you, but I know he's directed some other stuff. He's directed a film called Night Comes For Us, which I remember one commenter telling me to watch. I still haven't watched that movie yet. I still gotta watch that though. Because I do want to see some of this guy's other work. This is the first theatrical movie I've seen from him, and and when it comes to the rest of our supporting cast, Christopher Lloyd is back in this one and even he gets a little more to do. He even gets more of an entertaining performance right here, and still brings some of the humor he's known for in the Back to the Future films. And John Ortiz, who starts out kind of bad at first, but he becomes a good guy as well. And of course, there's Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, plays Abel, one of our other bad guys of the film. And there's all really delivered here. And this is a comedy action sort of movie where the characters kind of mock themselves as not too serious, and the characters' roles are doing serious stuff. There's good tongue-in-cheek humor too. So if you go in trying to think this is going to be a serious mobster drama sort of movie, you're not going to get that here. And I think some might have been hoping for that, and some maybe came out a little disappointed, but it's not trying to be that. Remember, it's trying to be a humorous action flick that a lot of audiences could see. Something even the first film, Nobody, even that had a lot of unrealistic moments too, and a lot of campy moments too. This isn't, even Nobody at the times didn't take itself seriously. So neither would this. So why would Nobody take itself seriously? It's Nobody. So it really pulls from a lot of movies pulls from National Lampoon's Vacation, it pulls from Killing Him Softly, it pulls from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it pulls from a lot of second entries in action franchises from the 80s and 90s. You got the story, you got the villain, you got the twist. You do see some twists coming, but it doesn't matter because it still engages you start to finish. And the action is silly, and it's also entertaining though, and it keeps you hooked. And the whole movie flies by because this movie is a simple 8-9 minutes. It's not trying to be some wannabe 3 hours or 2 hours. It has a simple runtime, and I like that about the Nobody films. They don't try to be over long. They just try to be simple 90-minute action films. So Hutch and Max then go to the lodge that Hutch's father's staying at, and Brady and Max do reconcile. I bought him a lawn, but just try to be cool. And Brady's not mad to see Max, and they reconcile and they shake hands and they become friends. So I do like that. And I do like that Hutch actually did kind of go back for him, because to be fair, while he did kind of cause their problem, to be fair, the guy's only a kid and doesn't really deserve to die. So I'm like that Hutch at least had a change of heart, did go back for him, because Max may be kind of a bully, but I don't think he was really that. But I don't think he really should have been left. Definitely doesn't deserve to be left to die, to be fair. And to be fair, if he did get left to die, that wouldn't really give his father any reason to want to even help Hutch at the end. Really, in the finale sequence I'll get to later. Although, Becca's mad because Hutch can't keep his promise about not trying to get involved in any violence while they're away. But she decides, though, she's not going to leave. She's not going to go anywhere, and Hutch is going to fix the mistake he's made. So him and like Max's dad Wyatt, they reconcile. At first, he thinks his son is dead, but he tells him his son is safe after a little brief fight. And like Lendina finds out about the money she lost. Like, how much money did we lose? All of it. What? Who the fuck is this guy? And like they're like, heck, you even get a bit of a like when Wyatt is describing Lendina has a bit of a dance sequence. Like, it's not like a cringy dance sequence, not like the stuff like Morbius, or not like some of the Sony shit or some of the Marvel dance sequences. No, like this is kind of like the kind of over the top villain you get, like a villain that kind of likes to show off their wealth and power. And like I also the dance sequence kind of worked for me, and it was actually also brief. And then henchmen come like, we're all ready, let's go. And yeah, they go off to go kill the two, and like there, but him and Wyatt reconcile, and they get the park ready. Like, they have to close off the whole park. Like, they lie that it's being closed for repairs. And so, of course, and Harry and David are pretty much helping out as well. Like, his brother and father are helping out this whole thing. So, Abel tries to negotiate with Hutch and Wyatt, but that fails. And so pretty much Ladina's like, yeah, he's useless, kill him. And so Abel is shot down, and the whole massacre begins, where Hutch activates one ride, and a few of the men are actually squished by the ride, or knocked away by the ride, or they're blown up in the Hall of Mirrors. There's even an action sequence where Hutch slides down a fucking water slide, and one goes after him, and he activates the spikes, and the henchman goes through the spikes and gets slaughtered in the water slide, and blood flows out of the water slide, and right, this is my favorite. Love all the action sequences, but this action sequence was my favorite action sequence of the movie. This finale was like, oh, this whole showdown was awesome. Like, love showing us down in a freaking water park, where the first film took place at a bank. This goes at a water park, like up the ante. And meanwhile, though, his brother, there's more henchmen coming to the lodge, and Hutch's brother Harry kills them. Although sadly Wyatt gets shot in the leg, David gets knocked unconscious, and Hutch then gets attacked by Lendina there, and a few other samurai girls that Lendina has. But then, of course, Wyatt kills them, or kills both of them. Like, one's about to go, no, runs up to him, but then he shoots her or stabs her in the nick of time. Like, oh fuck, like. They're like, and of course, then Ladina, I think, kills him. Like, that's really hard. You are fucking nobody. And then, as she's attacking Hutch, though, Becca then shows up and then tranquilizes Ladina. And of course, right there, gets tranquilized, like, in, like, the whole head. And then also gets tranquilized, like, when Ladina throws a knife at Becca, she shoots another tranquilizer. It hits away the knife. And a tranquilizer right in the eyeball. And then David is able to have enough strength left to blow up the water park. And Ladina is killed, and the rest of her men are killed. And then it cuts to the opening scene for the first film, where it turns out Hutch and Becca were both being interrogated, not just Hutch and that wolf dog you saw earlier in the film. That Hutch let go, and off-screen and even attacked some of Ladina's men. They're let go because this mysterious source, like, had demanded they be released. We never find out what the source is, but maybe it's Hutch's boss or something. I think it's Hutch's boss, like, maybe it could be, but they get let go after they get interrogated, and like, yeah. This is what you get here. This over-the-top vicious crime boss that loves to sell things in the most violent way possible. Like, this is back then, because back then a lot of action sequels in the 80s and 90s always had over-the-top villains for their sequels. For actors to play off against. Like, and this is role's perfect for Sharon Stone. Like, the actress who would play in stuff like Total Recall and Basic Instinct, and like Sharon Stone still has quite a bit of capable movie star and brings a lot to the table. And though, like, to be fair, that also as nice it is to see, I can also kind of see why she kind of disappeared for a little while, and her career did kind of die off for a little while because while like her in films like Total Recall and Basic Instinct and a voice acting in Ants, but there's times when she was kind of known to be a bit of a pain in the ass to work with. Like, there's times when some of her writing interfered with a lot of the Basic Instinct sequel, where pretty much recasted Benjamin Bratt because apparently he was a bad actor, or got mad about the leg cross scene from the first film when Paul filmed that bit. But of course, though, this is the same light that like shows and stuff like Pine John Wick. Like, Hutch does never get really seriously injured and does manage to escape and destroy everyone on his path, but it's an over-the-top action film. And director Timo really does keep things live and deadly with well-crafted fight pieces. And Derek Kolstad's screenplay and Eric Raymond comes through in balancing the swift action and family values. So now we get on to how the movie ends, or pretty much the finale. So how the finale goes is, the last thing you see is the family watching this visual album, their location, and they adding 2 new additions to the family, like Ladina's dog and the wolf dog at the park. So they pretty much now have 2 pets in the family. Just like that. That wolf dog that's on the park and the dog that belonged to the villain. A good way to end the film. And the credits are pretty much the whole family photos. They're going on throughout their trip, all ending with the explosion at the park you saw. But that's how Nobody 2 ends. And you know something, I actually like they did not do another obvious cliffhanger ending here and made this sequel a separate story while still continuing on from the first. Maybe it does leave hints at a third film, maybe, but we'll see what happens when it comes to either performance-wise, if it even does happen, and if it does happen, it better get actually good material. Because I don't want nobody having another Clerks 3. I don't want another Joker Fully Dukes. I don't want another Independence Day Resurgence. I don't want another The Predator. I don't want another Alien 3. What else can I think of? I don't want another Dial of No Destiny. I don't want another Last Jedi. I want nobody to still stay fresh. So if they're not able to come up with a third one, then I don't mind. Then I wouldn't mind. But if they are able to do a third one, we'll see. I hope they still keep this material fresh and they don't over milk it. This thing, like, maybe just keep it 3 movies. And if you do make the third one the finale, please do not kill Hutch off. That's what I hope. So now, would I have any bad qualities with Nobody 2? I guess if I had bad qualities with Nobody 2, I think some gripes I have is that there are some plot lines that aren't really resolved, like the whole like loan he owns, like that doesn't really get resolved a lot. Like, you never really touch up on that stuff again. Like Hutch owes money for burning up the 30 million from the first film. Like, it's puzzling and it just feels like a plot device, and we never know why he's doing this work. We just don't know much about that. And what else can I think of? At first, like, Max does... Well, it's nice that he saved Max, but to be fair, like, Max and Wyatt did kind of start the whole mess they got into in this film, in a way. Like, Max kind of started the mess that Hutch and his family got put into at the arcade scene. So, you can see why Hutch is a little hesitant to save him, because technically, he's kind of the reason, like, that Hutch is now in this mess with his dad or Ladina. And then, like, you know what I mean. But other than those, I love Nobody 2 a lot more than some people have. And some people say it's good but not as great as the first one. But I love Nobody 2 just as much as the first one, if not even more. And I would highly recommend to definitely go watch this. If you're missing an action film from the old days, this is definitely a film you should go see. So in the end, Yes, I would watch it by Nobody 2 for your collection if you love the first one, want a crazier, more entertaining sequel. Anyways, as if for my review of Nobody 2, if we're not going to rank Nobody 2, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you love the first Nobody and want an even crazier follow-up, I would totally watch it by Nobody 2 for your collection for sure, no doubt, because this is an example of a high crazy sequel, and if we're going to rank Nobody 2, I'm going to give Nobody 2 a 9.5 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. That wraps up my review for Nobody 2. I gotta put Nobody 1 back on the Blu-ray shelf, and yeah, so I gotta head to bed soon. It's now almost 9:59 p.m. in my area. So yeah, tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought about Nobody 2, whether you love this as much as I did, or whether you're one of the majority that didn't think this was as good as the first one but still liked it, or did not like it. Either way. And until then, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. If you like this and want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.